She came to her senses. Something must have hit her in the head. Boom. She told ESPN, we're looking for a good deal to get done. But I think we're also prepared for whatever it takes for that to happen, while also understanding that we want a 2026 season. You better want a 2026 season.
The head of the WNBA Players Union just dropped something that's got everyone talking. After all that tough negotiation stance and strike threats, Nneka Ogwumike completely flipped the script. Why the sudden change? It's all connected to how Caitlin Clark transformed this league and the cash that's finally rolling in. What she's actually saying when the cameras aren't rolling, though, that's going to shock people.
Very high level, and I think the most important thing for myself, thinking about these CBA negotiations, like, this is the biggest moment the WNBA has ever seen, and it's not something that can be messed up, and we're going to fight for everything that we deserve, but at the same time, like, we need to play basketball. That's what our fans crave, and that's what all of you crave as well, is you want the product on the floor. And at the end of the day, that's how you make the money, that's how you're marketable, that's what the fans get excited about, that's what the fans want to show up for. So, it's business and it's a negotiation, and there has to be compromise on both sides, and, we're starting to get down to the wire of it, and it's become really important, and obviously I want to help in any way I can, and I tried to educate myself the best I can. Obviously I can't speak to every single number, it's pretty complicated, but I think there are different things that we can find ways to say, no, like, we certainly deserve that and we're not going to compromise on that, and then other things that we can probably compromise on. But like I said, like, this is the biggest moment in the history of the WNBA, and I don't want that to be forgotten. Similar, like, it's important that we find a way to play this next season, and I think our fans and even everybody that has played in this league that has come before us deserve that as well.
I'm curious just on the
really just talking to people to see about like the status of interviews and different players.
Look, I need to understand something here. If you're playing in the WNBA right now, would you really think about boycotting the 2026 season just when the league's actually profitable? Or does that sound like the worst possible strategy? Let me know what you think, because this whole thing is spinning out of control.
The players remain united, resolute, and prepared to fight for their value and for their future. Signed by Martin Luther King Jr. Like, God, then you making it seem like we fighting for our freedom back, baby. Like, what's going on? Like, oh my gosh, oh my God. Like, imagine saying we're going on strike. I would have, hey, listen, the owners are better than me. Let the players who've been keeping me in the red tell me they about to go on the strike. I would have been like, pinky promise? Only if you pinky promise. Pinky promise me that you'll go on strike forever, because I've been losing money ever since. Caitlin is the only reason I'm making money. I'd have been shoved out. Pinky promise, please go on strike.
Listen up, because what just went down is wild. Nneka Ogwumike, who runs the WNBA Players Union, just did a complete 180, and I'm talking total reversal here. She switched from playing hardball to practically pleading with everyone to see reason. She recently told ESPN, "We're hunting for a solid agreement. Sure, we're ready for whatever needs to happen to make that work, but we definitely want that 2026 season to exist." Wait, hold on. You definitely want a 2026 season? Of course you should want that season. You better do absolutely everything possible to guarantee it happens. Stop with all the games. Stop with the garbage. Get into those negotiations and hammer out an agreement, because what's actually going down backstage that everyone's afraid to admit is this. For the very first time since it started, this league is actually generating profit, and you're thinking about destroying all of it because of pride and horrible timing. Are you completely out of your mind? Are you absolutely insane? You want to kill this momentum exactly when everything's finally clicking. Here's exactly how this plays out once you understand it. The moment players walk out, everyone picks a side and they go to completely opposite extremes. That's how social media operates in this country now. Everyone camps out at the far ends, progressive left or conservative right, zero middle ground, zero subtlety, just rage and polarization. It's basketball. Everything's cool. We're moving forward. And now you want to just destroy it all.
Now y'all even thinking, even the majority of the players are okay with the strike? This is leadership. This is leadership, man. This is what leadership.
9 years back, Nneka, when you were younger and dreaming big about where this league could go, You said something totally different. You claimed that fame and money weren't what defined success for women's basketball players. You said real success in sports, especially for women, meant earning respect. Money wasn't the goal, respect was. You literally stated that being a professional women's basketball player had nothing to do with financial gain. You were pulling in $50,000 annually back then. And that was acceptable because the story was always about respect, visibility, and acknowledgement. They provided chartered flights.
2 years ago, Caitlin's first year, because it was just baffling when the Fever, for a preseason game to Dallas, they arrived and there were cameras like it was paparazzi in the luggage.
Like the Beatles.
Yeah, it was like it was basically like it was a zoo, and all these cameras were following. It's like, we can't have that, both for her and the rest of the league. So they got chartered flights years before they were expected. And this salary cap that they're negotiating right now is much higher because of the interest level that Caitlin and her fans and Fever fans now have brought in. I mean, I think, the top 25 most viewed games last year, I bet 20 of them at least were Fever games, and that's because of Caitlin solely.
Fast forward to today. You just inked a $2 million deal with a different league that never would have existed without Caitlin Clark revolutionizing women's basketball. Those investors wouldn't have gone near women's basketball with any amount of money just a few years back. If they believed in women's basketball historically, they simply would have purchased a WNBA franchise. But they showed zero interest until Caitlin arrived, and suddenly everybody wanted in on the opportunity. Now, here you sit thinking about a work stoppage right when salaries are about to multiply by 4, when you're traveling on private aircraft, when people finally recognize who you are, even if they struggle with pronunciation, when arenas are packed with fans, when the league is actually genuinely generating profit after decades of financial bleeding. This represents real leadership, Nneka. I'm not being ironic here. This actually demonstrates what leadership means when you realize you're about to waste the biggest chance this league has ever seen. You need to talk sense into everyone around you. You need to grab people and demand they explain if they've completely lost their minds. We were negotiating tough, but we're absolutely not walking out. Are you serious right now? Because here's what a strike gets you. You'll return begging for twice your current pay instead of the 4 times increase. That's sitting right there. All momentum dies. The new fans vanish. The money people bail out. And just like that, you're back where you began, performing for 3,000 people and earning almost nothing. Let's get some perspective here. Nneka, if you accept the new collective bargaining agreement that's available right now, you could earn over $1 million this season. That's nearly what you've earned during your complete 13-year career. You've played 13 seasons in this league and earned $1.4 million total, complete career earnings. 13 years. Next year, by itself, you could make $1.3 million. You'd earn almost your entire career total in just 1 season. And you're considering sitting out the year? For what exactly? For bargaining power that doesn't really exist? For principles you walked away from 9 years ago when you claimed money wasn't important? The timing couldn't possibly be worse. Imagine what would have occurred if players had tried this during the previous collective bargaining negotiation in 2020. The owners would have thrown a party. They would have praised heaven for finally discovering an exit strategy from this financial disaster. They would have shut down their franchises and disappeared without looking back, because the WNBA was a horrible investment for them. Complete cash drain for over 20 years. But right now, for the first time in history, owners actually want this thing to continue. They're finally seeing profit potential. Viewership is climbing, attendance is climbing, sponsorship money is pouring in, merchandise is moving, and it's entirely because of the Caitlin Clark phenomenon, whether anyone wants to acknowledge it or not. Let's get completely real here. The WNBA has been hemorrhaging money since 1996. Every single season, owners have been covering losses from their personal fortunes or depending on NBA assistance just to stay operational. Players were earning poverty-level wages compared to their male peers, and the explanation was always, well, the income just isn't there. And that was accurate. The income genuinely wasn't there. But something changed last season. Caitlin Clark entered the league and delivered millions of viewers along with her. All of a sudden, games were completely sold out. All of a sudden, national television coverage was generating real audience numbers. All of a sudden, People who had never witnessed a WNBA game in their entire lives were watching. And yes, many of them came specifically for Caitlin, but you know what happened? They also discovered Angel Reese. They discovered Aja Wilson. They discovered Sabrina Ionescu. They discovered all the other amazing talent throughout the league. That visibility generated possibilities that never existed before. Players began landing endorsement contracts. Social media audiences went through the roof. Leagues like Unrivaled started up with multi-million-dollar backing because all of a sudden, women's basketball was making money. The whole environment transformed almost immediately. And right now, exactly when everything is finally functioning. The Players Union is playing with the concept of a work stoppage. It's completely insane. It's self-destruction on a scale that's almost remarkable.